Line 5! Shut down! Line 5! Shut down! Line 5!
So Line 5 is a tar sands pipeline that runs through the Great Lakes.
We're here today for our 4th annual Pipe Out Paddle Protest. We come out here during the Labor Day celebration here at the bridge to celebrate the water and also to bring awareness to the pipeline that is here that's going under the waters of the Straits, just west of here at the bridge.
This is the flotilla, the Line 5 pipe out paddle protest, where everybody goes out on the water to demand that Line 5 be decommissioned and shut down.
We are in a place of confusion, confrontation, greed, corruption. It's all over this lake.
Water is life! Water is life! Shut down Line 5! Shut down Line 5! Water is life! Water is life! Shut down Line 5!
All right, so Line 5 is a 65-year-old pipeline that's buried underneath the Straits of Mackinac, which is right there. It's on native territories, so these are ceded lands, but it's still part of our life.
Line 5 has leaked over 1 million gallons of oil in the Straits thus far. And the Straits is right here, as you can see. The Straits is where Lake Michigan and Lake Huron meet.
And it goes through 70 different tributaries through all of Michigan.
I mean, as far as the pipelines go, and they're all a threat to our water, this one seems to be one of the biggest threats.
The water is really, really tumultuous right by the bridge.
There's more water that flows through these straits than over the Niagara Falls on a daily basis. And we don't need that oil and gas in our Great Lakes contaminating the fish, the water supply, the environmental atmosphere, and the tourism industry.
We don't need it. It comes from Canada, goes through to Canada, through Sarnia and overseas. So it's not even for us. And why we're here to put at risk our great waterways is really beyond any of us.
Line 5 is like a shortcut from Canada through Michigan back to Canada. And Michigan doesn't have any benefit from that oil.
So it's a bad deal for Michigan, and it's a corporation taking what they can take.
Yes, Enbridge lies, and they lie all the time. Everything out of their mouth is a lie.
A couple months ago, there was a tugboat that incidentally dragged an anchor on the floor. It dented it as well as damaged a bunch of power lines.
They knew about it, they just didn't release it to the public. So their transparency and their truthfulness is nil.
The reason we're concerned about this pipeline, it's 63 years old, and as I'm aging and not quite able to do what I do that I might have done 20 years ago, So is the pipeline.
It's been going under the straits for over 65 years. It was rated for only 50 years. It's time for it to get shut down and come out. Essentially, if that breaks, there's really no way to stop it polluting and destroying almost all the Great Lakes. Over and over, our oceans are dying, our lakes are dying, our streams are dying, and this is one of the most critical crossings in really the world as far as pipelines go, because the Great Lakes holds some of the greatest fresh waters anywhere around the world.
But it is a direct threat to our Great Lakes. It is a direct threat to our economy of Michigan. And it is a direct threat to the livelihood of the tribal people who have sovereignty over our lakes and rivers. So it's extremely important that we shut down Line 5 for all of those reasons.
We could have a spill today, we could have a spill tomorrow, we could have a spill in 20 minutes, hopefully not, right? So, but yeah, study after study is showing that this pipeline is ready, is ready to go. Like even the pipeline is even saying that.
In the wintertime over here, we get like 6 feet of ice. They need an icebreaker to cut through that. How is it that the Coast Guard is going to be able to go over there?
If it happens during the wintertime, this is all frozen. The Coast Guard's already mentioned there's no way they can cut it down. Waves up here reach up to 12 feet tall sometimes. They can't get out there then either.
When an oil spill happens, how are they going to get to it? They have admitted that they can't do it. You know, and that's like 40 million people depend on this for drinking water. When that breaks, that's it. It's game over.
An oil spill in the Great Lakes, but also along any of those tributaries, would be catastrophic.
Our health will go down. They're saying, 1 in every 10,000 people along the shoreline will be affected with some type of cancer. That's estimates. And our property values will go down. The animals will be affected. The whitefish will be decimated.
There was a news report that said that it would be $6.5 billion to restore the lake. You will never be able to restore the lake. You can put $13.5 billion. It will never be the same ever again.
It'll affect every aspect of our way of life here.
So this paddle out is essentially to bring the awareness to everybody so we can essentially vote to shut it down.
So at this point in time, we must come together, and that's what this is, about. We must come together to protect the water and future generations. It's our duty. Our grandchildren are depending on us, and I don't want anybody looking back like, what were they doing? What were they doing? Why didn't they stop this? I don't want them to have to look back on that.
We do not inherit this world from our ancestors. We're borrowing it from you and your kids. We're not inheriting it. We're just responsible for it, and it's irresponsible to gamble with it. And the other side's not going to listen to us because they're making a dollar. And that's all they care about. They don't care about the future. They got their money in their pocket, and they got the politicians in their pocket.
So water is sacred to the indigenous people. We care for the water. It is our obligation as women to take care of the water, and I take my obligation seriously.
Water is important because we need it to exist. Without water, we can't exist.
Water is because it connects everything. It connects everything that ever was. It is the same water that has always been here, because this is, how the water system works. It's the same water, and it connects everything, all life.
Our water right now is in a state of emergency all across the Turtle Island and the world.
And so we're all here today with the same purpose. From the beginning of the line to the end of the line, Line 5 does no good. We need to get rid of the whole thing. We don't need to replace it. We don't need the oil. It needs to stay in the ground. We need to move towards green energy. Thank you all for being here.